Let's be honest, the word sales can make a lot of us feel a little uncomfortable, right? It just sounds so complicated, maybe even a bit intimidating. But what if I told you that great selling has nothing to do with pressure and everything to do with solving problems? Well, in this explainer, we're going to cut through all that noise and give you a super simple map to mastering the basics. So seriously, what's the first thing that pops into your head? For most of us, it's that cliche, right? The fast-talking salesperson in a slick suit trying to push something on you that you don't really want or need. That stereotype has given sales a pretty bad rap for a long, long time. But what if that whole picture is just wrong? This right here. This is the most important idea we're going to talk about. It's a total mindset shift. See, modern sales isn't about being pushy. It's about listening. It's about understanding what a customer is actually struggling with and then helping them find the right solution. You're not a product pusher, you're a problem solver. Everything, and I mean everything, we talk about from here on out is built on this one idea. So here's our game plan for today. First, we're going to get that sales mindset totally locked in. Then, we'll walk through the core sales process step by step. After that, we'll check out the modern tools that take all the guesswork out of it. And finally, we'll talk about what your future in sales could look like. Ready? Let's dive in. Okay, first things first, let's build that foundation. Because before you learn a single script or technique, you have to get your head in the right place. Success in sales really starts from the inside out, especially when you have to face the biggest fear for any beginner, and that's rejection. I love this quote because it completely flips the script on the word no. A no almost never means that you've failed. What it usually means is, hey, the timing isn't right, or maybe the budget just isn't there, or it's simply not the perfect fit for them. At least, not right now. The moment you can separate your own self-worth from the outcome of a conversation, that's the secret to building resilience.
So how do you actually build that kind of bulletproof resilience? Well, it all starts by treating every no as a piece of data, not a personal attack. It's a chance to learn something. And that little bit of learning is what fuels your persistence. To keep that fire going, you gotta stay positive. And you do that by celebrating the small wins along the way, like a really good first call or a nice email back. Those little victories, that's the fuel that keeps you in the game.
Okay, so once that mindset is locked in, we can add a structured process on top of it. This is what turns sales from this chaotic, unpredictable art form into a repeatable science. Think of it as your roadmap. It guides you and your potential customer on a clear journey together. So what exactly is a sales process anyway? Well, put simply, it's just a series of predictable stages. When you follow a process, it means you never forget a crucial step, you treat everyone consistently, and you always know what to do next. It completely replaces guesswork with a clear path forward. And that journey usually looks something like this. First, there's prospecting. That's just finding people who might need what you have. But you don't want to waste anyone's time, so next, you qualify them, making sure it's actually a good fit. Only then do you present your solution, and you tailor it to their specific problem. Now, they're naturally going to have some questions or concerns, and that's where you handle objections. If you've done all those first steps right, closing the deal feels like the most natural thing in the world, and that's the beginning of a great long-term relationship. Now, having the right mindset and a solid process is huge. But to really make it all work in the modern world, you need a third pillar: technology. The tools we have today have completely transformed sales from something based on a gut feeling to a science that's driven by actual data. I mean, just think about this shift for a second. The old way relied on your memory, maybe a physical Rolodex, if you even know what that is, and just intuition. And that meant things were constantly falling through the cracks. The modern way, it's systematic. It uses data to make smart decisions, CRM software to keep every little detail organized, and automation to handle the boring, repetitive stuff. And you know what that does? It frees you up to focus on the most important thing, the actual human relationship. And the absolute heart of the modern sales toolkit is the CRM. You can think of it as your command center. Every email, every call, every note about what a customer needs, it all lives right there. It makes sure you never, ever forget to follow up and that you have the complete story of every relationship right at your fingertips. It's your single source of truth. And with all these tools, you get a ton of data. To make sense of it all, we track what are called key performance indicators, or KPIs. Don't let the name scare you. These are just simple numbers that tell you if what you're doing is actually working. For example, your conversion rate tells you how good your pitch is. If that number's low, you know you need to change something. Your average order value tells you how much each customer is typically worth. KPIs are what turn that old gut feeling into a crystal clear picture of your performance. So, you've got the mindset, you've got the process, and you get the tools. What's next? Well, the last piece of the puzzle is understanding that sales isn't some skill you just learn once and you're done. It's a career of constant learning, growing, and adapting. So what really separates a good salesperson from a truly great one in the long run? Honestly, it just comes down to habits. The greats are always practicing, like an athlete. They're obsessed with staying on top of their industry trends. And they're not afraid to ask for feedback, especially on the deals they lose. They build a powerful network, and they set really clear goals. That's how you turn this from just a job into a real career. So there you have it. Sales isn't about being pushy. It's about being helpful. It's built on a resilient mindset, a clear process, and smart tools. The fundamentals? They're not a mystery anymore. You now have the beginner's map. So the only question left is, what's your first step?